So this footage we got of BioShock 2 is actually some of the first footage I ever saw of the game, because I've been kind of avoiding it, and I can't help but notice that it just kind of looks like BioShock.
I think that's just kind of the nature of, they're returning to Rapture. It's a sequel. It's, going to go back to the place that you've been to before, and your giant underwater Art Deco palace, it's still going to look like that. You're right. It does look like BioShock, and I'm curious to see, how the designers of this game overcome the obstacle of having to live up to those expectations and then more. So some of the things that we learned about when Brad and I went and saw the game is that, you've got a lot of the splicers have gone feral now, since they've been underground now, underwater for so long. So you start getting like these splintering groups of splicers who are like way crazier and who actually like kind of deified the player character from the first game. Like they hate Andrew Ryan for like introducing the whole splicer, like this whole concept, and then they kind of revere his the person who brought him down, who was who you played in the first BioShock. So
they've had a long time to stew down there. It's like 10 years later, right?
Right. Yeah, it takes place 10 years later. So that means it's like 1970 down there.
So bell bottoms and
yeah,
disco balls.
Expect lots of disco balls and Coke mirrors. That's BioShock 2 in a nutshell.
So basically, you play as like the original Big Daddy. But since the 70s, you have a big Fu Manchu, and Kung Fu, right?
Yeah.
See, that would be an awesome game.
That's
it was just like 70s Kung Fu action in Rapture.
It's actually why he has to wear the big diving helmet, because he has a giant afro inside there.
Perfect. You don't find that out at the end.
Yeah, that's the twist.
Yeah, the helmet gets blasted off by the big sister, and oh god, the spear comes out.
So they're showing a lot of her early on in the PR cycle. Like,
right.
there she is, front and center. Like,
well, I thought the implication was that she would kind of play a main role and kind of constantly be like hunting you or like show up at scripted times to do stuff.
Yeah, she's supposed to be dogging you pretty much the whole time, and there are triggers that will bring her out of hiding. So the harvesting that you do with the little sisters, that's one of the triggers that brings the big sister out. It's like she doesn't like it when you misappropriate them and make them do stuff. So while she's extracting the atom, first you get rushed by a bunch of splicers. It was probably 8, 10, 12 splicers just kind of came out of the woodwork all at once and just kind of converged while she was doing her thing. So you have to fend them off. But then the big sister comes out. She's got all these telekinetic powers. She's got like objects swirling around and flying at you, and super nimble. Like she can like jump 20 feet in the air. Kind of, yeah. It's weird. It's a huge contrast with the Big Daddies. The kind of slow, bulky, lumbering thing they do.
But the Big Daddies are still in the game.
Yeah, they definitely are. And it's still optional. You can still decide if you want to.
Right.
And if you kill one, though, the little sister, correct me if I'm wrong, will kind of identify you as another viable Big Daddy, right?
I believe so, yeah. Well, what's interesting is like the world will start recognizing that you're not just a regular Big Daddy. Like you're not behaving the way that like the systems in Rapture are supposed to work. And it seems like that was kind of one of the things that was talked a lot about during our demo, was that, you coming in, you are kind of disrupting the ecology of Rapture and kind of how things work, how splicers and Big Daddies and Little Sisters all interact. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
You have a third option with the Little Sisters now. You can still harvest them as soon as you find them. Right. You can still save them, although now it's not just save them. You actually have to take them to
carry them somewhere.
Find the ventilation duct or whatever.
Yeah, they call that the adoption process. So while you have them, while they are your ward, you actually have them go and harvest Adam for you. So it's kind of like the save kill thing. Although the twist is that at the you have the little sister with you until you find a portal to throw them off into, and then they're basically saved. But if you choose to, and if you want to be like the biggest bastard of them all, you can murder them after you've adopted them, thus harvesting all of the Adam that they had collected while they were rolling with you. So you can be extra evil, which, I couldn't even be bad the first time. I don't know how they're going to convince me to be the worst person in the world this time around.
You're a Big Daddy, man. You got no conscience now. You are the man inside the monster, right? Isn't that what they're saying?
Yeah. Well, but are you? I mean, you're obviously not fully converted, because it's not like you're looking through a diving helmet the whole time.
Well,
at least from the view of the game,
you don't see a diving helmet,
right?
In your perspective, but you are
wearing.
Yeah. I'm not sure if this is in the gameplay video that they've been showing, but in the demo that we received, the opening shot is of you looking in this puddle of water and seeing a reflection up of the diving helmet, and then you just go from there. And then you don't see it necessarily in the HUD, but you're a Big Daddy, dog,
and you can go underwater.
Also underwater.
You can go underwater and walk around. That's about all they've shown.
Well, you're wearing a big diving helmet. Why wouldn't you be able to?
Yeah.
It sounds like that's pretty much all you're going to be able to do. It sounds like they're not going to have big action sequences underwater, but
there's no giant squid fight. I think they pointed out.
Yeah, no great white shark fight. I think was one of the notes that I wrote down from that.
Lame.
Agreed.
Wasted.
I should be drilling sharks all the time.
Wasted potential.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the mix of the drill and the kind of shoulder dash, but also you got plasmids on the other hand.
Well, the drill is just kind of just a weapon. I mean,
yeah.
Some of this footage shows guns and all that stuff, so it's not like you're stuck with the drill the entire time.
So it's basically the new wrench, I guess.
Yeah, which I played through the whole first game with wrench and electricity.
So do you think there will be drill upgrades in there? Is that going to be your go-to again?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you can fit in stuff to totally raise your drill statistics and stuff. Like, I mean, by the end of the game, the wrench was crazy powerful if you had the right stuff equipped. It wasn't like I was just doing that and then had to club guys like 8,000 times at the end of the game. Like, it was still totally a viable way to play the game, which was actually one of the things that really bothered me about it. Is like they gave you all these guns, but I thought all the guns in the first game were pretty much junk. So I don't know, like seeing you shooting guns in this game, I'm like, yeah, dude, whatever. I am going to set things on fire and then drill them. I mean, there's a lot of things about your character's identity that they'll have to explain through audio logs, which will seem really weird 10 years later to be talking about something that happened before the first game. Mm-hmm. But I bet that's...
Unless more weird stuff's been going on down there than you know about.
They invented a time machine, and you go back to before the events of the first game and make the first game possible.
Kill Hitler.
There you go. And kill Hitler. That's what's going to happen. BioShock 2.
Here you go, BioShock 2.
In stores.
Look for more
later this year
on this in the future on GiantBomb.com.